In the late 50s, the United States military was looking for a new two-seat fighter jet. The McDonnell Aircraft Company stepped up and made the F-4 Phantom, which dominated the skies in Vietnam. In the early development of the F-4, the Navy was unsure if they needed it because they already had the A-4 Skyhawk for ground attack and F-8 Crusader for dogfighting. But after 2 years of designing the F-4, McDonnell was finally able to sell it to the Navy. The first prototypes were designed to carry 4 Sparrow 3 radar-guided missiles and be powered by 2 engines. After years of testing from the military, in 1960, when the F-4 Phantom went into production, it was also outfitted with a much stronger radar and capable of carrying bombs. By then, the Air Force and Marines both also wanted Phantoms because during its testing it broke 12 flying world records, with the 2 best being fastest plane and having the highest max altitude. Around production time, the F-4 Phantom was originally going to be called the F-4 Satan, but after pushback from the government for the name of Satan, they changed the name to Phantom instead. The F-4 Phantom had its first deployment during August 1962. By the time the Vietnam War started in '65, the F-4 was in a third of all Navy squadrons. The first Phantom air-to-air victory of the war took place on April 9, 1965, when an F-4 from the Fighting Falcons, piloted by Terrence Murphy, shot down a Chinese MiG-1. On October 5, 1966, an 8th Tactical Fighter Wing, F-4C, became the first Phantom to be shot down. It got downed by a MiG-21 missile. In air combat, the Phantom's greatest advantage was its thrust, which permitted a skilled pilot to engage and disengage from the fight at will. The massive aircraft, designed to fire radar-guided missiles from beyond visual range, lacked the agility of its Soviet counterparts. Although the F-4 could enter spins during high G and high angle of attack maneuvers, it still wasn't as maneuverable as the MiGs. In 1972, the F-4E model was upgraded with leading-edge slats on the wing, greatly improving high angle of attack maneuverability at the expense of top speed. The J-79 engines produced large amounts of black smoke at max power, which made the Phantoms easy to spot from a distance. Pilots could eliminate the black smoke by using afterburners, but that came at a great cost of fuel. The F-4's biggest weakness was its lack of a cannon. Because the current belief was that dogfighting would be impossible at supersonic speeds, no effort was made to teach pilots air combat maneuvering. In reality, engagements quickly became subsonic. Moreover, early missiles were inaccurate and unreliable. To compound the problem, rules of engagement in Vietnam precluded long-range missile attacks. Many pilots found themselves on the tail of an enemy aircraft, but too close to fire their short-range missiles. It didn't take long for the United States Air Force F-4Cs to begin carrying external gun pods containing a 20mm M61 Vulcan Gatling cannon. Some of the Marines' F-4s even carried 2 pods for strafing. Combat showed the externally mounted cannon to be inaccurate, yet far more cost-effective than missiles. By the end of the Rolling Thunder bombing campaign in 1968, the Phantom traded kills with MiGs at a nearly 1-to-1 ratio, the worst air combat performance in American history. The Navy decided they needed to teach their pilots better dogfighting skills. This is when the infamous Top Gun school was made. By 1972, after the Top Gun training, the F-4's new kill ratio was 13-to-1. By the end of the war, the Phantom had a total of 116 kills with an average of a 2.5-to-1 kill ratio. The Phantom also performed hundreds of successful bombing missions throughout the war. The F-4 Phantom goes down as one of the military's best fighters, next to the P-51, F-14, and F-15.